I'm taping this in New York, which makes a great deal of sense. I'm using my own computer, by the way, which means that the perfect quality of videography to which we're normally addicted will not be demonstrable, and I'm not wearing my glasses, which reduces my aesthetics somewhat. But I'm going to persevere because New York is the right place to be doing this commentary, and that's because I want to say something about Ebola. And Ebola came to the Security Council of the United Nations just a couple of days ago. That's where it should arrive. After all, Ebola was first identified by Doctors Without Borders back in March. 6 months of fumbling by the World Health Organization have evolved, and now finally it's at the Security Council where it should be as a threat to international peace and security. You know, there's only been one other health issue which has gone to the Security Council, and that was in January of 2000 when HIV/AIDS arrived at the same destination. So maybe now, finally, after so many woe-begotten months of tragedy and inadequate response, we will get somewhere. That leads me to the second point I wanted to make, which is that international countries are rallying to the cause, finally. The United States is sending 3,000 troops, as you know, to Liberia to set up clinics and hospitals so that that entire country doesn't disintegrate, and they will shortly be joined by Cuba, China, United Kingdom, France, everybody working in Sierra Leone and Liberia. It's fascinating to note that Doctors Without Borders suggested the military support. They have never before contemplated military support for a humanitarian intervention. And then to wind this up, a woman named Laurie Garrett, a quite remarkable author and journalist who is an infectious disease specialist, wrote an exceptional piece for Foreign Affairs last week in which she indicated that unless the world responds with tremendous urgency to Ebola, we could have 250,000 cases by December, by Christmas. She said she hoped she'll be seen as a scaremonger, but I suspect in her heart there lies real fear. Real fear was evident in Guinea, wasn't it? When that terrible tragedy of 8 health workers and journalists were stoned to death by a mob terrified that when they saw healthcare workers, it meant death was coming. God, it's horrifying what can happen in these catastrophes. When you think of it, we respond so urgently to war, and we respond so poorly to disease. That was last week. I'm Stephen Lewis.